It's come to scramble. Here we are. It is Sam and Michael, and last 30 minutes of my day here, at least at home. Yeah, so I'm just thinking, well, about the AsyncVoter thing. I've been talking to Raul, and like, he's always really busy. Maybe I will sort of take over and get things merged and start doing deploys, because I think we've got a bit backed up. And he says that's fine for this week, and we'll have a longer chat about that at some point. On the AsyncVoter side, so we've got to the point of we've got some tests in place. We've got this one. Okay, well, that looks like there, right? And Joao, I guess, is basically is away. I will just ping him on that. With that merged in, I mean, he's got a good job now, so why would he chat to us anymore? But there's no, I mean, you get started a new job, you get really busy. So let me just go there and say, any chance of a review of okay. So that is that. Right. I thought I have a branch. I don't have an open pull request. I thought, did I not have a pull request for? Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong project, of course. So that's AsyncVoter. I want the async Slack bot, right? So like Aresh has done an example for us of Yada. I mean, he also did an example of how to do like multi-step testing. Like if we want to be able to support this feature, which is like to run tests in multiple channels, then we need to be able to have a test that kind of like checks, okay, this test is this vote is started, and then this other vote is started, and that we check that it's not interfered with. So this is 7 test harness, and somewhere async bot, I think, is there.
Origin, yeah.
What have I got locally here? Oh, that was just, yeah, so git stash that. The funny thing with this, but now, no, what is it even called? Just run npm test. No, oh, am I going to be npm list? No, I'm on 691 npm install. Okay, so we've got test with a lot of logging. Oh, and then we've even got the cucumber test in there as well. Maybe window. Give me the async bot. Okay, so what are we up to now? So the test is just mocha test. Okay. The test, we've now got a Yada file in there, and we've got features under the test file. Okay. Okay. So we've got an endpoint there for cucumber-like tests. We've got this controller tests, and so what? Did you look at this at all? Did you follow what we're doing, or it's all crazy new stuff?
I'd seen part of it.
Mm.
I think at one point. Oh no, not
So,
on this project. No.
no, yeah. So this is. I thought I had used. Okay, right. So I've used botmock, which I was originally just copying in the files, and then Aresh set it up so that it's actually pulling botkit mock off of GitHub via this, a mechanism not unlike the one we kind of, to jury rig up in the gem files for Project Scope, which is interesting to see. And I'm a bit suspicious of this botmock, in as much as I'm not sure what it's really doing for us beyond what a hand-rolled mock would do. Like, but we now have kind of like this app has been great. We've got our server. Put this over here. We've got our server, which, does the botkit setup, opens the WebSocket. And then, so the key difference change I made was to pull this out into a separate controller file, which is this one. And so this now contains all of the individual instructions to botkit about how to respond to, for example, start new vote, results, and do the replies. And so, like, it seems to, similarly to the stuff we have in the Agile bot, it seems to me like all the mock needs to be able to do is just, handle incoming here. Like, there's two things. There's the controller and there's the bot element. And it just needs to, like, I can't, like, we've got all of this, we've got this setup here where we create a controller like this. I guess maybe it is doing stuff for us. Like, we're passing in a Slack ID and a username. I mean, it would be more sensible if that actually they were different. And it's also, this is also happens to be using ES6.
So you're injecting your mocked controller?
Yeah. So we're basically, so we kind of here, we get the controller JS file is just, we grab that. So that's the file in the test. And then we, the bot mock here, we use that to get a controller and the controller.bot, and we pass that in. So we inject, exactly, dependency injection.
And then you say on line 24, you call self.controller.user input.
Right. And then
input help.
Well, and this was the thing. Like, basically, originally they had like this kind of thing being constructed.
That's like, an anonymous function, right? In ECMAScript.
It is a named function in that it's the function input on the self object.
But the text thing to the right is the.
Well, I think this corresponds to, like, in the old style of JavaScript, it would just be this.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, but so it's not anonymous, right?
What do you mean? That is an anonymous? Like, that would be an anonymous function, right?
Well, this by itself, if I took that out and I declared it over here, but we're assigning it to have a name.
Assigning it to a name, yeah.
But yeah, but by itself, it's kind of like a Lambda thing. And I did that to kind of like basically the example test had that same thing of like setting these elements in there, like, and the user thing. But it's interesting to me, like it's.
So is that some kind of like The user's input, right, is some kind of function on bot mock, I'm guessing.
This one, yes. The bot mock is
So
providing that, and then it is
it's
presumably
expecting the
passing
input.
that.
It's expecting the input in that format that
Yeah.
that input
Yeah.
function.
And I don't know if this is a custom thing that they've just made up, or if this reflects the way in which the bot kit receives the thing from Slack, and then they've replicated that, which would sort of make sense. And so we've then got this, so this is, in order for me to focus this down on just like what's the message instead of everything else, I declared this up here. Whoops. And then, so then we've got a promise here that says, okay, once this user's input kind of returns, we get this text and we can check that it's equal to a response.
So that's the bot's response?
That is the bot's response. And so the bot does like bot reply, here with what have you. And there may be more functionality to like check other things, but at the moment, it's only allowing us to check the text. I don't know, maybe there might be good like put user and channel and stuff in there. I don't know. I guess the funny thing, well, I guess I can see the bot mock in here, and it has this. So this is the bot mock, and so this is this user's input.
So it's whatever's being returned, like on line 28, for instance. Bot.reply.
Line 28.
On the other file.
Oh, yes, indeed. It's checking that the this comes back. So like, so for example here.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So what I had written was tests basically that tested each of these individually for the trivial, starting case. And I wasn't sure how to do like a multi-stage thing. And then Aresh did that with like assigning a second promise that basically does the expectation, and then it does, a separate thing. And then, yeah. So, and so we could in principle be testing.
So you just get this nested callback.
Yeah, but like, in order to check, it's going to be like really difficult to maintain.
Right, because it's all nested.
Right. And so I was sort of thinking, if we're going to be serious about maintaining this, we need, a syntax where we can describe, I start this one vote and this other vote happens and so on, whatever, so that we can get clear on the high level. So I was just going to look at the bot mock here. So this is the class controller has this user's input actually returns a promise. It's interesting. What is this style? I guess this is all ES6. Like, presume this is declaring a function. So user's input takes users types and then options. So we're in the right place. So users inputs, we're just passing in.
Yeah, it's got that new class syntax in ES6.
Yeah, right. And then how is user? So the interesting thing here is we've got user types. User type I'm not seeing defined. Presumably that must be.
This is inside the.
Yeah, this is inside the bottom. I was just trying to, because one of the things that I haven't been able to do with these tests is check which channel it's being sent to. So for example, this test here, when you say vote 1, we can check that the bot responds to you and says, I received your vote. But at the moment, this doesn't check whether the bot is replying to you in the channel that you asked it in, or if it, like, we also have another side effect.
Why don't you print out args?
Args where?
Inside that function.
This one here. Oh, okay. Well, like if I console log.
Args, I think. In JavaScript will give you a full set of array, like the
do.
arguments as an array. Because the thing is that you have one. I'm wondering, you have one variable declared there, right? But JavaScript doesn't care.
Indeed, there may be like several others that it's passing back.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
ignored.
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of wondering if we could see that from here. I mean, it's sort of like it's created like a var of who sent the message. And then it calls message with options. I mean, the other thing that makes me slightly nervous is I had to, like, their tests that came with the bot mock didn't work. And I had to, like, remove some callbacks and stuff. And I don't know how well the bot mock project is keeping up with the bot kit project. So, just comes back in. And then action callback. And it's got self bot. Yeah, so we've, like, we can see the mock for here is, yeah. Anyway, so there's the test. It hasn't. I thought there was a way to do mocha focus, mocha single test. Run a single mocha test. No, it's only, not focus. Focus is the I was just reading about. That's a new RSpec way to do it. But yeah, I mean, so there's different things. There's like improving the. Did I change something in here? And there's a whole different thing there for conversation. So yeah, I kind of like, presumably this is gonna, like, user's input is creating a promise, which is then we wait for that to be fulfilled. So I would have thought from here that if I can see the promise, I guess, does this imply that the promise will return, resolve, and reject? I guess that sort of implies that we can, the user's input will return an object which we can then pass, resolve, and reject to. And it sort of looks like there from the flow. Look, it then calls initial user message, which just returns the message text. Anyway, let's go back over here. Yeah, args is not defined.
Oh, really? Let me look at JavaScript.
Oh, it's arguments.
Arguments, sorry. Spelled out in full, arguments.
Yeah. Ooh, gosh, there's a what? What on earth? Okay. Okay, so it failed because I changed one thing there, and it seems like the arguments are very long. What's going on? So that's some of the internal logging.
What is this?
And then I assume this is the arguments. So it's got like 0 is this thing, and then 1 is this thing, and then, which includes some what have you, and then 2 is this one. So it looks like there's and then 3 and then 4. So it looks like there's kind of 5 different.
Do you see the room anywhere in there or no?
We go back up to here. I mean, we've got the Slack ID, we've got the username. I mean, if we look at for example, the test where we say vote, like we've got this one, I guess ideally we should be looking at, oh no, this is the right one. Yeah, so looking at this.
I wonder why text is just receiving that.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because like, so this sort of implies that the text would be I would have thought that by default would be the first argument, right?
Maybe there's something different about putting the arguments inside of a anonymous function like that. Arguments.
Maybe. I'm just going to adjust it so it should now pass, and it should be easier to see what's going on. Although still, like it's including some huge. Right. So that's the text that it's. So somehow let's say maybe there's a different in the way that it prints it out, but. So the text is coming back. I mean, this is the thing is, it may be that the bot mock is not able to handle this say instance, right? I don't know if we have that even defined in here. But it does have like say there. Simple say mock, we just store answer in array. So it looks like there's kind of, we could be asking the bot there. There's like bot detailed answers.
So it's taking the text, but say itself. Is there like some kind of new? So say itself takes key. What I'm confused about, like if you pass a hash or an object into, see that like bot.say channel, key channel and a key text.
Right.
And you pass that into a function. Does it just automatically now? Why is text being? Well, I'm not sure why the channel's not going through there and why that's called text.
I think we've got. I mean, I think in this context, the text just refers to a variable. So,
right
from this function's point of view, it won't care if that's a string or a whatever it is. It'll just do that.
We should be getting that whole array, that whole object pushed on.
Right, but and so it probably. I mean, if we do console log detailed answers, we may see it there. Like it feels like the setup that we have here is that this is designed to make it easy for us to see the reply. But so we could also here, I mean, the thing I want to do here is like one, what's that on the 0? And then console log the bot. In principle, we have access to.
We should have access to that.
Yep. So I just want to, but so yeah, if we look through the existing thing coming back, it's got the huge thing there. There's no immediately obvious, like if that channel thing or whatever, when it would say like here, async vote updates in, like maybe it's available through some, like, it appears inside the controller and it's an object and it's down there. But there's no easy, like, I mean, the interesting thing is even this I received your vote doesn't appear to exist in this argument stack that we're, and maybe the argument is ending up referring to something higher up, like the fact that it's the promise, like in this context, maybe arguments is just referring to, it's completely unrelated to this text thing. So now here, so we've got the I received your vote there is that console log of the text. We're looking here at the list of detailed answers, which includes both that thing to the, the immediate reply, and then also a thing here undefined. So that's actually the channel, because basically this has been called without the channel being set. So we can see that it tried to stick in here something like it's to an undefined, doesn't really have a user to put it to. And then in here, we just have the string.
So
with no clear way of identifying which channel it went to. So go on.
You said that that's probably the undefined, right?
Well, I'm just looking at here, it's putting it onto whatever the user it is. Like it's associating. I mean, what I would have expected to see is this two-part or two-element hash, right? Like if bots say, if that is being picked up here,
Yeah.
right, then we should expect to see a hash with two keys, one of channel, one of text, even if start channel was undefined, what have you. I would still be expect, but what we're seeing, in fact, is undefined, and then just the text in like an array. I mean, it's pushed it so it's onto an array, but it's only put the text in there. So I don't know if the fact that that's like called text has like,
that's what I'm wondering is
yanked out the key.
Yeah, like that would
kind of be that's gonna be surprised if that what it was doing, but maybe.
JavaScript keyword.
Kuba. But I guess is that the only place that say is defined in here? Say. There's another one here. Say mock without logic. Say data callback. That's in. Who knows? So that's and this one is doing this did answers and it's pushing it to data.channel. So maybe it is that the channel is undefined. If I put in this, that it's not set. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So it's using this one here for some like. But we can, in principle, be checking that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, just to wrap that up there, we would there's the public response, which is I just put in the first part of it. Public response is that
it was calling a different version of the function.
Yeah. So we should also, as well as expecting the text to equal the response, this, in principle here, don't do that. We should expect detailed answers not set to equal
response,
and then public response.
Yeah, public response.
Yeah, so and I guess those arguments refer to something we get maybe get evaluated too early. Go on. It's like there we go, and then I can get the full. The full thing will be this, and very long. But anyway.
So that's what it's posting in the public channel,
right? Okay, and expected agile. What's okay? Is there like a space on the end? There's a space on the end there. Is that really? Yes, there's that space. Clearly deeply needed. Oh God.
Well, you wrote it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted that space. I'm very pleased that it's there. So now, only off. I think some of the other ones will break because I updated the thing to say like test ID. So that's in 75. Okay. Right, and I was busy turning off these things like in the bot. It's a bit annoying to have like the bot kit there. It would be nice if there was some way of like removing console log.
So how are you feeling about Node now?
Yeah, I'm quite liking, I mean my experience on this one here, it's been all quite stable. I mean my previous experience with Node was that it was a bit like my early experience with PHP.
Right.
So I'm feeling quite positive about Node at the moment. Yeah, so like, I guess then, so that's nice to find that out, although that was a bit brittle. I guess but it's going to be difficult to maintain the high level functionality of the system in this thing. I guess that the question is then about this, right? So we have these steps. So what's somebody? Okay. So this is how Yada works. But so I guess the next step would be like, okay, can we fit like the bot mock setup into here? Or would we try and do like my memory of trying to use Sepia with the Agile bot is that it wasn't like as straightforward as VCR.
Right. Sepia, yeah.
Yeah.
Sepia,
yeah. Anyway, at least I've sort of convinced myself that bot mock is. I mean, to the extent that it's like, that it's mocked things, and we've been able to work out where to do. I guess it's a reasonable thing to go with for the moment. Okay. But so I guess it's then a question of pulling out the elements from here and inserting them into this Yada thing in a way that works.
Mm.
And then we could have kind of a high level test of, like actually running a vote with like several different users voting. And then we could actually write a high level cucumber test of, okay, right, here's one vote going in one channel and another vote going in another channel, and making sure that they don't collide.
All right.
And in principle, the actual implementation of it would just be, kind of having a list of channels that votes could be in, and just adding multidimensionality to bits and pieces there. I guess the tricky thing will be for the async voter to receive votes. The bot you either push it onto the user so that the user must specify either the channel or the URL of what they want to vote on,
right?
Or or the bot, when you vote, the bot says there are votes running in these channels. Which one did you want to vote with these URLs? Which one did you want to vote on?
Like one, website 1,
right?
2, whatever.
Yeah, or ABC or what have you.
Just type in.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at how to do sort of nested conversations in the bot kit, but it looks in principle quite straightforward. But so I guess what I'll do here is I'll git commit am adjusts. This is tests that vote includes a user. I mean, I've got other things that like if you say vote one in the channel, well, that's your problem, isn't it? I mean, I guess it's getting to the point of it's getting a bit big. Anyway, I've got to go and have supper. If you want to pull that down and play around with it, do be my guest.
Sure.
Otherwise, I will see you tomorrow.
All right. Bye.
Bye for now.